Get ready with me while we talk about the woman who lived a sinful life. I'm not crying, you're crying. So based on this title in this chapter, I had absolutely no idea who I would be reading about. Oh my gosh, this chapter is so good! Well, this woman comes into the house of a Pharisee, okay? She comes in to see a very particular person, Jesus. She knows she's not worthy. This woman had done terrible things in her lifetime. So when she came to see Jesus, she came with humility. She felt as though her entire world had been unraveled in this most beautiful way. Doors had been opened for her. Walls that had been there her entire life had crumbled away. And for the first time in her life, she wasn't afraid of her future. She was thrilled by the prospect of it. She felt clean, whole, innocent, as if she were a little girl again. All of the things that had become her entire identity had been stripped away. She was both filled with sorrow and joy as she entered into Simon's house, the Pharisee. She flew right past the arrogant, judgmental stares, and she walked over to Jesus. And in her hands, she bore a small alabaster box. Y'all know who I'm talking about yet? Overwhelmed by everything that she was feeling, trembling, she fell to her knees, and pulling her long hair out, she began to wash her master's feet with her tears. Now, let's take a minute to talk about the owner of this house. Simon had a great love for the law. They were like a fence. It protected his sense of security. It was almost like he had a map that he believed would get him to heaven. But ironically, the only way that he was going to get to heaven was sitting in his house. It's not like he was recognizing that. Good job, Simon. Simon was shocked that a woman with a reputation like hers would even dare to enter his house. The audacity of this lady, right? He also believed that the only way a woman like her would dare to even think about entering his house would be because she was starving. And even then, he was like, the gall to come in my house and beg for food. Very judgmental man, this Simon was. So Simon was really shocked to realize that not only was she not begging for food, but she was crying. Potentially, he viewed her as being even hysterical. She's holding this weird little box that is meant for holding perfume, and she's headed for one particular guest at this dinner party he was having. What on earth is going on with this lady? And then she started touching him. Now, at this time, Simon believed Jesus to be a prophet. And so Simon is watching this go down, and he's like, if this guy was really a prophet, he'd know what kind of woman is touching him right now, and he would shoo her away. The arrogance. So Simon's watching all of this, and he's just disgusted. I mean, this woman was a known harlot, and she was kissing him, kissing his feet. Gross. Wiping her tears away with her hair? I mean, what a performance. Why is this woman in my house? Jesus, dude, shoo her away. Get her out of my house. What are you doing? So Jesus leaned over to Simon and said, hey, Simon, I have something to tell you. If two men, hypothetically, owed money to the same guy, and neither man could pay back the debt, so the man who they owed money to just forgave them both of their debt, which man who owed money would love the man they owed money to more? Simon thought about it for a second, and then he said, well, I mean, I suppose the person who owed him more money, the person whose debt was more intense. Jesus said, you are correct. Then Jesus turns to the woman, still talking to this judgmental Pharisee whose house he's eating in, and he says, do you see this woman? Simon at this point is probably rolling his eyes like, yeah, I see her. What's your point? Why is she still in my house? Jesus said to Simon, You didn't even give me water to wash my own feet when I came into your house. Not hers, yours. But not only did she wash my feet, but she did so with her tears and wiped them off with her hair. Jesus probably wasn't this sassy when he said it. You didn't give me a kiss. But she did. In fact, from the time I've gotten here, she hasn't stopped kissing my feet. You didn't pour oil on my head, but here she is pouring perfume, something that's more expensive. Therefore, Simon, I'm here to tell you that her sins have been forgiven because she has loved me much. But he who forgives little is forgiven little. This sent everyone at the party into a huge upheaval. Who is this guy that he says that he can forgive sins? What? That's not something people can do. It's something God can do. What's this man talking about? Jesus then looks down at Mary Magdalene and he tells her, your faith has saved you. Go in peace. Both Simon and Mary Magdalene owed a debt just like you and I have, one that none of us could repay. The difference between Simon and Mary is that Mary recognized heaven when it walked through the doors, and she knew that the only way to be redeemed was to humble herself, to love the person who created her. Just realized how terribly uneven this is. Hold on, did that fix it? Not really. Now, why is it that this book referred to her as the woman with a sinful life and not by her name? I believe that they did that as a illustration to show us her name before Jesus didn't matter. What mattered was everything after. What mattered was the forgiveness. What mattered was the daily choice to change and to be more like the person who saves us from moment to moment. The woman with a sinful life no longer exists. She passed on that day. And Mary Magdalene was reborn because she had faith. Mary Magdalene's story is not so different than any of ours. You can choose to put down the woman with a sinful life at Jesus' feet, and you can choose to rise and go in peace as Mary Magdalene. I hope that blessed somebody today. It certainly made me a little emotional. God is good. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.